Well, it's 5 p.m. and guess what? Come on, guess. No, go ahead, guess, really. Guess. The Bills took it again. Can you believe that?
All right, quiet on the set.
Polkas After Dark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's start the party.
Broadcasting around the world. This is your number one internet station. The music you love right here, right now. It's another live broadcast. Special edition. Now your host, Rob.
Yeah, it's just little old me again. I'm by myself. But next weekend, Jerry will be back. She's hanging out with her sister down there in North Carolina. She flies back tomorrow evening. Hey, but we're excited because guess who's joining us tonight? Mr. Bob Naessens from the Dynabrass. He's going to be placed in the hot seat, and we're going to be chatting with him a little bit, finding out a little bit about his background, his musical background. He started out playing, if memory serves me correctly, with Rick Vanecki's Harmony Kings back in Michigan. And then, of course, he moved on to the Dynabrass, and that's kind of who we're going to start this episode off. We want to welcome you to Polkas After Dark. This is the Sunday afternoon edition, and here we go. Here is Jeff Malechko and the Dynabrass. Here's one called In the Heat of the Night. This, of course, is a live recording.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the drums, Mr. Paul Crivy. On the bass guitar, Mr. Kurt Majewski. Accordion, Paul Goodman. Constantina Mitch Kempinski. Trumpet, Mr. Bob Naessens. My name's Jeff Malechko, and we are the Dynabrass. We are happy to be with you here. We are going to have a lot of fun all evening long. So let's kick her off. Going back a few years with this next tune. So would you hold my hand and be mine tonight? My life's been so lonely, could you make it right? Unleash your desire, the passion and fire in the heat of the night. In the heat of the night. I had given up on love until I saw you dance across the floor, and somehow I was But this time I swore I was not gonna lose and find myself lonely and sadly confused. There's a song in my heart, takes me back to the start of true love and how it should be. So would you hold my hand and be my tonight? My life's been so lonely, could you make it right? Unleash your desire, the passion and fire in the heat of the night. In the heat of the night. Those other times I tried love, I found it filled with heartaches and pain. Heartaches and pain. So I swore I would never ever make those same mistakes again. I don't wanna hurt again. And yet when we dance and I'm holding you tight, I know that these feelings I have are so wrong. I'll shed these doubts from my mind and I'll pray for the time when I have you right here next to me. So would you hold my hand and be my tonight? My life's been so lonely, could you make it right? Unleash your desire, the passion and fire in the heat of the night. In the heat of the night. And I think there's another man inside me who keeps telling me what I should do. There's a voice in my head that reminds me that the only girl I love is you. So would you hold my hand and be my tonight? My life's been so lonely, could you make it right? Unleash your desire, the passion and fire in the heat of the night. In the heat of the night.
That, of course, was
We're doing
recorded
this one
live.
especially for our friends here at the St. Stanzay Ski, especially for Bob Nadolski and for Doug. We'll send this one out for you guys. Here we go.
And there you go. And again, another live recording. We don't play a lot of live recordings unless they have some, what is the word I want to say? Balls. Unless they have, like some guts behind them or whatever. But that, of course, that song does. Hey, we're going to say hello to Amber. Amber is here this evening. Also, Arlene. Hello to you. Let's see. Dolores is here. Also, Bobop, he's joining us. Andy Boychuk is here. Alicia Baker, good evening to you. Good afternoon. And like we say, whatever it is, it's all good because you guys are here with us and we're here with you on Polkas After Dark. Hey, Mike Alaz is here once again. Also, Don and Marina Kozak out there in North Tonawanda. They are joining us. Good afternoon, kids. Also, Linda Petrozeski up in Niagara Falls. Congratulations. You guys had one whale of a crowd out there for the Buffalo Concertina All-Stars yesterday over at the Holy Trinity Dance. We're going to also say hello to Helena Garbach. She is here. Also, let's see, we also have Tina Goebel. She is also in the house, and I'm just going to take a quick peek over into the YouTube channel. It looks like Mr. Jake Fortin is here. Janet Dilly, she said she was going to be here. Well, sure enough, she is. So welcome you guys to Polkas After Dark, as we're going to be talking live in just a little while with a gentleman by the name of Bob Naessens, and he is, of course, a trumpet player for the, used to be with the Dyna Brass. He's still with the Dyna Brass now with Joe Zaleski's group. And again, we want to thank everybody for stopping by here. Hey, let's get one more song here by the Dyna Brass. Here is one called Anywhere But Warsaw.
Nic nie robić, nie mieć matwie, ładne piwko cię pić, leżeć w trawie, liczyć chmury, gołym i wesołym być. Nic nie robić, mieć nałogi, pomelować gdzieś się da, leniuchłować, świat całować. Dobre panie, pozwól nam, jedzie pociąg z daleka, na nikogo nie czeka, konduktorze łaskawy, byle nie do Warszawy. Jedzie pociąg z daleka, na nikogo nie czeka, konduktorze łaskawy, byle nie do Warszawy. Byle nie do Warszawy.
You'll notice that Xander and I shop at the same store. Nice shirt.
Nic nie robić, nie mieć matwie, ładne piwko cię nie pić, leżeć w trawie, liczyć chmury, gołym i wesołym być. A prywatnie być blondynem, mieć na głowie włosów los i na mózgu z baldachimem robić coś nie jeden raz. Jedzie pociąg z daleka, na nikogo nie czeka, konduktorze łaskawy, byle nie do Warszawy. Jedzie pociąg z daleka, na nikogo nie czeka, konduktorze łaskawy, byle nie do Warszawy. Byle nie do Warszawy. Ponadto, co nas boli, co zmiesza tylko nas. Wybić drogę, beczkę coli, dobry panie, pozwól nam nie oglądać wiadomości, paru gościom krzyknąć pas. Złote rybce o brzydkości, za to co przyniosła nam. Jedzie pociąg z daleka, na nikogo nie czeka, konduktorze łaskawy, byle nie do Warszawy. Jedzie pociąg z daleka, na nikogo nie czeka, konduktorze łaskawy, byle nie do Warszawy. Byle nie do Warszawy. Nie do Warszawy.
Hey, that's another tune by the Dyna Brass, Jeff Malechko's group. Hey, we've got a couple of tunes that we're going to be playing off of that brand new recording too, by the Light of the Moon. And here is a song called Polonia Grove.
Where else would you rather be than right here, right now?
Let's all join Pukoyashu at Polka Motion by the Ocean 2025. Great times will be had in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, September 18 through 20. Feel the excitement, hear the sounds, and dance to the beat of Frankie Lishka and Blue Magic, the Polka Family Band, Lenny Gomolka and Chicago Push, the Eddie Foreman Orchestra, the Polka Country Musicians, and Michael Costa in the beat. DJ IJ John Seplick will be above the dunes on Friday, 11:30 a.m. Enjoy tax-free shopping and free parking. Park the car once and book to everything you could ever want in a beach resort town. Arrive early, join the fun at the welcome party on Wednesday, September the 17th at Conch Island Key West Bar and Grill with DJ Bruce Z and the Bird Boys. Visit the very informative official Polka Motion website to read about the band schedule and lodging suggestions. PolkaMotion.com. Call Michael at 908-209-9843. Call Jeff 518-281-1587. Polka Motion by the Ocean, September 18th through 20 in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware.
And of course, that does get underway on Wednesday for that very special, kind of like a meet and greet, kind of like what they do over there in Phoenix, Arizona with Bonk and Princess and the folks over there. Hey, you know, we want to say hello to everybody that is tuning in. We've got Mark Snader is here. Ed Pilars, good evening to you, Ed and Marie. Also, we've got Chris Ebel here. Lenny Lungoski. Oh my gosh, Lenny, it's been a while since we have seen you, sir. Also, Pete Wojcik is here. And Sue, hello to you kids. Thanks for tuning us in here on Polkas After Dark. Hey, let's grab a tune right now while we still have about 5 minutes, 6 minutes before I get Bob on the phone. Here's a song, Change of Pace, and I know that Bob worked with these guys for a little while. Here's one called Johnny Should Have Stayed Single.
Jasiu jest kawaler, paniennie dużo zna i wszystkim musi dać. Z jedną tańcuje, z drugą żartuje i każdą kocha. Z jedną tańcuje, z drugą żartuje i każdą kocha. Jasiu się zaleca, tak się jednego wie, co dobrze gotuje. Jak ty z jedności, ona z radości chodzi na głowie. Jak ty z jedności, ona z radości chodzi na głowie. Jasiu się zaleca, tak się jednego wie, co dobrze gotuje. Jak ty z jedności, ona z radości chodzi na głowie. Jak ty z jedności, ona z radości chodzi na głowie. Jasiu, nie zejm się, nie, będzie ci bardzo źle. Kawaler ma dobrze, żona to basta, po pysku czaska, zęby wybije. Żona to basta, po pysku czaska, zęby wybije.
by the change of pace. John, he should have stayed single. Hey, let's get another tune up here. Here is an old Rick Vanicki song. Here's one called Kukułeczko Polka.
Pieśni dała jak napój mnie. Proszę moja lała, proszę moja lała, ku. Powiedzcie mi śmiele, które roku będziemy wesele, ku. Powiedzcie mi szczerze, powiedzcie mi, że jeszcze nie jedzie, ku.
Hey, yes, sir, and there is a song by Rick Vanicki and the Harmony Kings. I was going to say the musical Kings, the Harmony Kings, and that, of course, is one called Kukułeczka. And you know what? We are so fortunate to have this gentleman with us this evening. Got a chance to talk to Andy Boychuk, and he said that him and Bob were on a cruise and told me a couple of quick short stories, but we now have Mr. Bob Naessens on the phone. Bob, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can, Robin. Thank you. And by the way, if I can correct you on one thing.
Oh, sure, please.
Rick Vanicki's Melody Kings.
Melody Kings. Okay, why did I think it was Harmony Kings? And you know what's funny, too, is it even says Harmony Kings on here. Yeah, well, okay, that I stand corrected, and of course I do a lot. So, and Jerry's not even here, and I got somebody else correcting me, so that's beautiful, Bob. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hey, I want to I'll make sure that I change that. I want to make sure that everybody can hear you okay, and I'm sure they can, as I can hear you as well. And Bob, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. I know you're kind of busy. I want to thank your missus for getting some really, really fine pictures for us over there. Of course, Les Kapuscinski's pics are here as well as some other folks. But again, I thank you so much for doing that. And let's go ahead. I'm going to just start out basically kind of what I usually do with our interviewees. And I ask them, at what age, Bob, were you when you first heard your first polka song?
Oh, gosh. All I know is I was a young kid. My mom and dad were not the type of people that would go to polka festivals, yet they were the people that would have the polka shows on every weekend. And so in our area here in Michigan, they were always on Saturday and Sundays. And so they always had it on the radio. We had 10 kids, and so it was a busy household, obviously, but that would have been my first exposure just to the music in general.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Okay. And what instruments do you play, Bob, besides trumpet? Do you play anything else?
No, fortunately, because I can't even handle the trumpet. So.
Fortunately. Nice. Nice. No, you handle it very well, and everybody loves to see you up there on the bandstand, especially with the Dynabrass, because you're always smiling. Don't know how you can do that all the time, but you take a look up on the stage, and every song you just have a smile glued from ear to ear, it looks like. Hey, so I'm going to hit on a bunch of different things, and I also got a chance to talk to one of your friends, one of our mutual friends, Sandy Lewandowski. And she was over there at the Beat Dance on Friday night as Michael Costa and the gang came into town, and they shared their last Buffalo experience with us over at Potts Banquet Hall. Great crowd. Jimmy Nowaczewski and his wife Charlene, they brought him into town, and what a great crowd they had. They sounded awesome. And, so Sandy and I got a chance to talk, but I want to move on to that maybe in just a little bit. Hey, what other bands have you performed in, Bob?
Well, my first band was with Rick Van Ecke's Melody Kings, which I was in from the time I was in college, basically, from 82 to 86. And shortly thereafter, I left Polkas for a couple of years because of work duties. And then, believe it or not, we started up the Dynabrass in the late 80s. And so that's how the Dynabrass initially started. And I played for a couple of years initially, but then once again work got in the way, and believe it or not, I was actually replaced on horn by Jim Moskevich. Kind of an interesting trivia, and I know he was there, and you'll have to ask him about it because that's when he had his mullet, and it's a totally different look that he runs with now.
It's funny you say that because we had him on for an interview, him and Chase, at the same time. And that was probably just a couple of weeks ago, as a matter of fact. But gosh, I wish I would have known that ahead of time, because I would have definitely asked him about the mullet.
Oh, yeah, and you want some good pictures. We got some, so we got some dirt.
So what other groups have you performed with?
Well, again, because of work, I actually had left the Dynabrass after that point in time for about roughly 10 years, but I was always kind of involved because I was always giving Jeff ideas on songs, or I'd be filling in a couple of times a year. But back after our daughter was born in 1999, actually got contacted by Chris Pacer, and so that was when he was starting the Change of Pace.
Oh, okay.
And I was not going to get back in, but he had actually contacted my wife and says, I don't care what it takes, you convinced him that he has to play. So,
beautiful.
So I was there for a few years, and then I actually had left after after playing there for a few years, and then that's when Jeff left TPM after it had disbanded, and then he wanted to start up the Dynabrass once again. And so that's how I got back with the Dynabrass, and we ended up recording the Unfinished Business, which fortunately featured the Song of the Year, Call on Me, from USPA at that time. And then we also did later on, I think it was in 2009, we did Bay City Nights, and that was a live recording in Bay City, Michigan. But then once again, work got in the way, and so I ended up leaving. Then, unfortunately, after Jeff had his stroke, Joe contacted me and asked if I would come back into the band, because I knew, again, all the lead horn parts. And so actually I rejoined the band in 2015 and have been there ever since.
Wow.
So the majority of my time has been in polkas with the Dynabrass. And I've always been involved, even when I wasn't playing. Like I mentioned, it seemed like every year I was filling in a few times for one thing or another. So that's part of the reason Jeff and I have always been very close throughout all the years, and have kept in very good contact.
Well, that's beautiful. And, I've got some people here in YouTube as well. Janet Dilly, a big fan from down around Erie, Pennsylvania. Every time you guys play down there, you see her front and center.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And also Jake Fortin. Now, I
All right, there you
understand
go.
Jake Fortin is a relative of yours. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. Him and his mom and I are actually first cousins.
Oh, I'll
And
be doggone. Didn't know that.
yeah, yeah, and she's just a couple of years younger than me. And so anyhow, she had asked me years ago to be a godfather, and so here I am. Oh gosh, Jake is what, about 30 years of age, give or take.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, probably somewhere around in there.
Yeah, I always kid him. That's why I've lost all my hair.
And that's and I know he's always up there. He gets excited, especially for Summer Music Fest, because he gets the opportunity to perform with Lenny Gomulka and Chicago Push. What a fine drummer he is. And, he just gets so excited when he's up there. And again, just smiles and, has some laughs and everything. And that's what polka music, of course, is all about, Jeff. Hey, how did the Dynabrass then actually get their name? Do you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Back at the time when Jeff had the idea of starting the band, his two favorite bands at the time were the Dynatones and the New Brass.
Aha.
However, both of those bands had already disbanded at that time. And so he said, well, I'm going to take the names of both of the bands, parts of the names, and put them together. And I've always said throughout the years, and the reason that he asked me to be in the band is that in order to have the ASS at the end, he had to have me.
Oh, that is funny. Holy smokes.
Yeah, it's always been a good joke. But yeah, that's how the name of the band got formed. So, and I think that was a great idea by him, because it's been something that's been really Jeff's identity, particularly throughout all these years. And it's been his baby. And so he deserves all the credit for all of the accolades that the band has achieved throughout the years.
Wow. And, you have recorded several recordings with the Dynabrass, and a lot of them have been honored at the USPA or IPA for Song of the Year, Band of the Year. Tell us a little bit about some of those recordings and some of those songs, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. Well, the first one I think I alluded to earlier, which would have been Call on Me from the Unfinished Business recording. And again, was a song that Jeff had written. And we went through, I remember the practices. We went through various practices, and I think through the time he changed a few words here and there. But otherwise, when we were, practicing that song, we could tell it was something special.
Yeah.
I think partly because it was somewhat spiritual as well. And it just kind of had that extra flair to it that I think helped a lot with the identity of the Dynabrass once it was, reformed at that time, because we had been broken up for quite a few years as a band. And so that was our release of the Unfinished Business of our new recording that was on. So it kind of set the way for the rest of the band throughout the 2000 and beyond. And then more recently with the Dynabrass, after Jeff had his health issues, we did various recordings. Those would be like And the Road Begins, Dance All Night, 2020, All In, and more recently By the Light of the Moon.
Yeah.
So we were fortunate on the Dance All Night. I actually found that recording off of a foreign country artist, and we converted it over, and that's the one that got USPA and IPA Song of the Year.
Oh,
and then,
interesting.
And then more recently, I believe Chase and I kind of submitted the idea about the same time to Joe on some nights. I had one version, he had a different version, and anyway, so that turned into the Song of the Year as well.
Yeah.
And so that's what's been kind of fun is I particularly listen to a lot of different genres and try to find songs that I personally like, and I think others hopefully would like, and I submitted them to Joe, and then we, and I'm not the only one that does that. Everybody in the band comes up with different song ideas and such, and and I think it's kind of fun. And so I don't know about the other guys, but I know I've probably sent Joe about 100 different recordings of various artists and different things. Yeah, if you were
Wow.
to talk to him, he probably has a Bob file, and
Bob
but
file.
it's fun, and it gives us a lot of different ideas, and
Oh, that's
we've been able
great.
to turn a lot of those type of songs into what I think our current identity is.
Interesting. Now, you alluded to the fact that you do listen to a bunch of different genres of music. And let me also ask you this. What other what is your personal favorite genre that you listen to when you're not listening to polka music?
Well, I would say it's a combination of, believe it or not, church hymns. Christian music
Okay.
is by far and away my release valve, if anything. And if I'm looking specifically more towards songs that may be viable for polkas, it's generally in more of the country and bluegrass arena. And it doesn't have to be from our country. It can be other countries of that type of music. And yeah, and that's just what I like to do. And you got guys that are extremely adept. You mentioned the beat earlier, and a tremendous band, and especially with Michael Costa. Look at all the songs, for example, he's written. You mentioned Lenny Gomuka, look how many Gomuka's written, and that's just to name a couple in this industry. That there have been a lot of really, really, really strong writers of songs, and I don't really have that knack. I've only written one song my entire recording life, and that with that being said, I feel like my niche is more to listening to other genres and kind of getting an idea of those that we can convert
And adapt those into polkas,
yeah.
Now, what was the song that you wrote?
Well, it's actually called No Time.
No Time.
And it was on the Unfinished Business recording. And I believe it was the last song on that recording. And it kind of had a minor feel to it. And anyway, which was kind of a little different for our band at that time. We didn't do a lot of minor type of sounding songs.
Yeah.
And so it gave it a different flair.
Gotcha. And you do sing in the band, do you not?
Well, my wife's in the living room laughing right now, so you pulled a good one there.
Hi, Becky. That's great.
Well, let's just say if the band were to ever be on its last legs, then I would probably sing a lead vocal here or there. But yeah, I just do harmony primarily. What's funny is way back in the day when we started the band, we had guys like Dave Slavinsky, who's in the Michigan Polka Hall of Fame now, which, by the way, he's Rick Benecki's cousin.
Yeah.
He was in the band. Tim Kowalski, Jeff Ryers, of course, myself and Jeff. Anyway, long story short, we didn't know who wanted to sing lead vocals, and we were debating who's going to try this and all that. And all of a sudden, Jeff just said, "I'm going to sing lead vocals," and so that's how that all started. And of course, he worked at his craft and really progressed in his vocals. And as a result, the rest of us, that's how we kind of went into the harmony arena. And as things developed, there was various times in the band, there was different gentlemen that would sing different lead vocals. Guys like Terry Koshara, for example, for a few years was with the band, and same with like Kurt Majewski on bass would sing, and Paul Goodman. And more recently, of course, Chase Hemaskevich has been doing lead vocals, and it was so great to see him step up and take over that reign, if you will. But along the way, and I'll sing harmony at best, and it's just again where I think it's better that my skills are put to where it makes more sense.
Gotcha. Do you have a favorite song though that you like to sing with the band?
Oh boy,
and that's probably a loaded question, isn't it, for you?
Well, it is, in a sense, because the way that our vocals are. I mean, there's certain songs like, say, for example, I'll Build You a Home. For whatever reason, the third part harmony just fits me really well. It's in a very good range. And so as a waltz, I enjoy singing, that song.
Yeah.
And when it comes to polkas, there's a song called Just Call Me Lonesome that we put on our recent recordings. And and that's another one where it's just perfectly in my range.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, there's other songs that I may have to sing really high on, or depending on what's happening in our band at the time, meaning that if one of the members can't make it, for example, if Chris Hedrick can't make it, who sings a lot of our initial harmonies, and then he'll also sing various leads on other songs.
Yeah.
But if he's not available, then it's up to the other guys to pick up the slack.
Gotcha.
And so I may have to do more lead vocals. And every band goes through that as, they perform. It's just the reality of
sure.
What happens when you're having to, basically, still perform, hopefully in the same level as you are in normal, if you will.
Sure.
So anyhow, we work it out, and hopefully efficiently.
No, you guys always sound good every single place that we go to see you, whether it's a USPA or an IPA festival or just a dance like Zabava, which really isn't a dance anymore. That place just draws so many people on a Friday and a Saturday night. It's crazy. It really is. And I know they make a lot of money. They don't charge anything for admission, and that's probably one of the key factors, but they make their money on their drinks, the beverages, and also the food, the food's amazing. It really is. Do you speak Polish at all, Bob?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
No, never acquired that.
Do you sing Polish? Maybe do you write this stuff out phonetically?
Some of the songs, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and Chase actually currently has on quite a few songs. He'll have those written out on an iPad form, and I'm able to see that, of course,
Gotcha.
Since I stand next to him, and that does help on quite a few of the songs.
Now, I know with the latest creation that you guys have done, which is By the Light of the Moon, you recorded that at Peppermint Studios with Gary Ramey, who is just an animal at what he does, and, so be it. I mean, he's been around for so long, he does a lot of that stuff in his sleep, but what other studios have you recorded in besides Peppermint?
Well, when I was initially with the Melody Kings, and I wish I could remember the name of the studio, but there was a studio in the northern suburbs of Detroit that we had recorded the Stone on Polkas, and it was kind of a funny story at that point, and that is the fact there's one thing I generally don't like doing, and that's actually recording.
Really?
And it's not from the standpoint of doing the process with the guys in the band. It's just I don't like to hear myself play. I don't like to. It's funny. And so I was so nerved up, and here I was. I had never been exposed to polkas before I was in that band, and so I was 19 at the time. And I was so nerved up, they literally had to give me a beer to settle my nerves in order to play in the studio. And so I know that's normal for a lot of guys, but for me, it wasn't, as far as drinking beer I'm talking about. But anyway.
That is hilarious.
And then in Ohio, gosh, I can't remember that studio name either, but when I was with the Change of Pace, his name was Bob, and I can't remember his name. It's actually east of Toledo, about an hour, and there was a studio there that the Change of Pace would go to record. And then with the Dynabrass, actually, we recorded initially in the basement of Jeff's mom and dad's house.
Oh, wow.
For the initial sneak preview recording.
Okay.
We actually recorded Unfinished Business in Jeff's house, which he had a house in Waterford at the time. And then I remember when we did Bay City Nights live, Gary Ramey was there because that's primarily where we used Peppermint for the mix, if you will. And then also when we did And the Road Begins, we actually did that at Ten Lang and Molly B's house when they used to live west of Toledo, about 45 minutes. And so we kind of bounced around, into different places. But yeah, over the last, I think 3 or 4 recordings, we've been at Peppermint in Youngstown, Ohio.
Interesting. Now, you heard me also mention about I got a chance to chat with Andy Boychuk, drummer from The News. Now he's working with Seven, and he's played with the Dynatones and some great bands throughout his musical career. But he and I started talking, and I said, hey, we're interviewing Bob on Sunday. He says, oh, well, I'm going to be there, which he is. He's in the chat room over here at Facebook. But he was telling me that you guys got a chance to share a cabin on the last cruise that you guys were both on. Tell us a little bit about the cruise first of all. Where did you guys go?
That was actually after Jeff's health issues, and I came in to fill in for Jeff on horn.
Okay.
And so that's how we ended up rooming together. And it was funny because Andy and I used to get up every morning and used to go work out.
Yeah.
And all that. Well, he got offended one of the last days that we were on the boat because I actually let him sleep, and I went and worked out without telling him. And sorry, my doorbell just rang.
No, that's okay.
But anyway, so him and I have teased each other to this day. So of course, as it was, I don't know what it was, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I was at USPA and I'm on the treadmill. The next thing, and I'm the only one in the workout facility. And the next thing his wife comes by, and the next thing you know, she takes her phone, takes a picture, and snaps it and sends it to Andy. So I've been in deep doo-doo with Andy ever since.
Oh, geez. Oh, that's funny. That's hilarious. Oh, my gosh. And as far as your doorbell, I hope that's not Uber Eats, because I don't want to take you too far away from your dinner. But
no, you're fine.
Okay. And also, gosh, I can't believe we've been talking for over almost 30 minutes already. But we still have about 10 more minutes to go, and I got a few more things that I definitely want to get a chance to ask you. Do you have a favorite band that you never played with, past or present, but you always wanted to perform in?
Well, I think you'd have to go with Eddie Blazonczyk. I tell you what, I was always enamored by the quality of Jimmy and Weasel back in the day. I always was very impressed at their power, their durability.
Yeah.
It seemed like they could play anything. And I'll tell you, here I was new to polkas, like I said, and I was, just kind of learning the process. But there'd be times I literally would be sitting on the stage as they're performing and just trying to listen to what they were doing. And they were always extremely cordial. Very approachable.
Yes.
And that I remember more than anything. And so I always tried to be that way. I can never be as talented as they are and perform at that level, but I could always be at least approachable and friendly, and that's what I've always tried to do as I've been around polkas all those years. But yeah, those guys to me kind of were the horn section that I always was enamored with.
It's kind of funny that you're mentioning that, because I've had discussions with Weasel quite a few times, and before Jimmy had passed, I also had discussions with him, and I said, that too, I have to admit, was my favorite horn section of the Versatones. I mean, just everybody that worked with the band at that time. Gosh, I think it was Jerry on concertina, Al, Jerry Tokaj on drums, Eddie on bass, of course, and the two horns. And I mean, I play a bunch of stuff. I play a bunch of live stuff thanks to Weasel, because I'll just shoot him a message on Facebook and say, hey, do you happen to have this? And like within 2 minutes, I don't know how he does it, but within like 2 minutes, he's sending me 2 or 3 versions of the song that I asked for, or songs that I asked for. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're a freak. How do you do that? But I have always complimented him, and I remember Jimmy on horns. And man, they were so tight. And, I also laughed because I remember telling Jimmy about this too. It's like, do you have a hose inserted up your... Because how he was able to have that breathing technique where he could play so long and not have to take a breath. And I'm like, and I even mentioned that to Zach, because Zach came on, his son, that lives out in Colorado. He came on, I want to say last year, I'll bet you, maybe even the year before already. Time is escaping me. But, just to get a chance to talk to Zach and find out a lot of stuff that I never knew about Jimmy. But again, joking around with him, I'm like, how do you have that air circulation? And he just said it's just a breathing technique, I guess, that he had learned over the course of time and incorporated it into polka music.
Yeah, it's a special technique. As I remember, Maynard Ferguson had a similar technique as well. And I don't know how many others are out there, that do so and all that. But yeah, there's definitely some merit to the process.
Yeah, most definitely. Hey, do you have a most memorable gig that you played? It might have been that there was a huge crowd, or maybe there wasn't that many people there, but you guys were really, really on key, and you just rocked the house. Do you have a most memorable gig, or maybe you have a couple of them?
Well, I tell you that it was in Seven Springs, and we rotated with Brave Combo.
Oh.
And it was back in, I don't remember even what year it was. It must have been like 2007 or 2008 or something like that. But the dance hall that we were at was absolutely jam-packed. It literally felt like a rock concert.
Oh,
wow. And I had never seen it that full before, at least for us playing. And yeah, it was the one time where you honestly felt like there was nothing you could do wrong. And it was funny because after we performed, I looked at Jeff. I said, well, I don't know about you, but I made just a few mistakes. He said, you and me both. But the crowd, if they even acknowledged it, you couldn't tell. I mean, they were just it was such an electricity.
Wow.
That night. It was really cool.
Oh, that's beautiful. Who did you idolize growing up, Bob?
Well, are you talking about in music, particularly?
In music, yes, in particular, yes. And it could have been any genre of music. It doesn't necessarily have to be polkas.
Well, I mentioned him before. It was actually Maynard Ferguson. It was funny because back when I was in 5th grade, 6th grade, and all that, when I first started playing, I didn't want to play any more after that first couple months. And my parents and the band instructor, oh gosh, it was a lot of arguments back and forth with me, and so I lost. But anyway, so I ended up, obviously sticking with the horn and such. But as it was, I was playing jazz with marching band and concert music and everything. But the jazz part kind of intrigued me more than the others did. And at that time, as I started listening to more music, I perked up with hearing Maynard Ferguson, and I was able to be fortunate while I was in high school to go to a couple of his concerts, and even when I was in college, he came on campus, and I was able to see him perform there. And just like you were talking about with the breathing techniques, and to see what he could do, and his orchestra, which mostly were college student age performers, just performing at that high level. And as a horn player, certainly the high notes as well, but it was the dynamics of it. And it was, something I couldn't reach. I couldn't reach those kind of high notes, and I still can't for that matter. But but I was in awe of what they could do. And that's by far and away, it was Maynard Ferguson for me.
Now, somebody I think told me this, and I can't remember who, but I'm thinking in the back of my memory banks, you remember Bobby Wróblewski, Chaz, that used to play with the Dynatones, and he played with Jan Simon's musical airs from Buffalo. We lost him just a few years back, but I think it was Maynard Ferguson that he was mentioning that he did something. He actually showed, because people were asking him, do you apply a lot of pressure to hit your high notes? And I don't know if you've maybe heard this or seen this or not, but apparently he tied a trumpet onto a chair, and he got on his knees and he put his lips up to the mouthpiece, and he hit like something ungodly like a triple C or something, and with no pressure whatsoever. Did you ever hear of anything like that about him, or maybe somebody? Maybe I've got the wrong guy.
No, I've heard that. I not specifically about him, but I've heard that from other horn players. In fact, when I had left the band at one time, Patrick Hessian had replaced me on horn, and Patrick was Andrew Ferguson's lead horn player.
Oh, wow.
And he could play all those notes in the stratosphere, and he said the same thing. Yeah, and it's a lot to do with the breathing technique and the amount of air that you're putting through and all that. But yeah, there's a lot of cool things you can do technique-wise.
Wow.
To be able to gain that, I just never did.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
But I know you mentioned Sammy Levanowski. Can I mention
yes, we're not going to do that quickly. We're going to chat about that a little bit in detail, because when I spoke to her briefly on Friday, I said, hey, Bob's coming on, and do you have any objections to us talking a little bit about the gift that you gave her, which is totally unheard of, Bob. I commend you for that, and everybody that knows you applauds you for it. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about what you did for Sandy.
Sure. Yeah, it's funny. I did a lot of research prior to the process, because at the time I was working full time as a pharmaceutical rep, so I had a lot of resources in the medical arena that I could personally talk to, and every single clinician that I spoke with had said nothing but positive things from especially the person giving the kidney, and what would happen thereafter. And it was interesting. Everybody in the medical community had told me that as long as you don't abuse your body, you will lead a very normal life. And so for me, I looked at that and thought, well, if I can lead a normal life, then how about Sandy? And of course, everything's predicated on a body not rejecting a kidney.
Right,
and
because you hear about that so much.
Yeah, and there's always medicines that people that receive a kidney will have to take to make sure that the body doesn't reject. Mm-hmm. And from my standpoint, to this day, not only is my energy really good, but at the same time, there's a couple things. Number one, all I take is a high dose vitamin B. Okay. I take a vitamin C, and I take fish oil. In other words, I don't have one prescription drug that I have to take.
Wow.
Now, initially, I did have to for about the first 2 years for protection. But after that, and to give you an idea, my last checkup on my kidney, my doctor looks at the labs and everything, comes into the room and says, how much alcohol do you drink? And I said, not much, maybe once a month or whatever. He says, well, how would you like to drink once a day? And I said, why? And he said, well, my glomerular filtration rate, which is a measurement of kidney function, has moved up to such a high level that my one kidney is actually functioning like I have two.
Really?
Yeah. And so I remember that when we donated the kidney, at the kidney center in Buffalo, they had mentioned that was an A1 kidney, and that was the best quality kidney they've ever had donated through their center. And so that, made me feel obviously really good. And then I'll have to tell you a little story that I don't know if Sandy would have mentioned this to you or not, but during the process, anybody that's listening, all I can say is thank you. From not only, sorry, it's a little.
No, that's quite all right. You take your time, please. I would imagine.
During the process, there were a lot of people praying. And all I can tell you is that we could feel the prayers. And when I say we, it wasn't just Sandy and I, but my wife, and of course, Matt, we were all together. Yeah. And we were praying before the surgery too. But laying in the surgical bed there before the procedure, I can't really describe the
feeling.
The prayer. You could feel the spiritual power. It was, by far and away, the most powerful thing that I've ever felt in my lifetime. prior to and since.
That is
And
amazing.
and then kind of a comical thing, right before they were going to put us in our separate rooms and put us under, in the surgical room, pre-surgical room, excuse me, they had a whole bunch of people like us that were going through transplants, and so they were all separated by curtains, right? Well, they allowed me to go see Sandy, so I got out of my bed and walked over to her, and we said a quick prayer. And of course, I'm in my surgical gown, all that kind of stuff. So I walked back to my bed, and she's laughing at me. I said, "Well, what are you laughing at?" She says, "I can see your butt." Not too many people know that story. I know a lot more do now, but we haven't told that story to too many people.
Wow.
So.
That is crazy. Now, I have to ask you something. Were you guys both awake during this procedure? Did you have any kind of anesthesia, local or whatever?
Oh, they put us both under.
Okay,
yeah.
they did. Okay.
In fact, as I remember, I was through the process a lot quicker than she had been. And so anyway, what they basically do is, of course, they have to prepare both of us, but they have a set period of time where they anticipate putting me under and then taking my kidney obviously out and then getting prepared to be able to give to her. And so we were on different recovery floors within the hospital, and we had a tremendous amount of support from Becky, my wife, and so for me, I was in the hospital, I believe, for 4 days, as I remember.
Okay.
But we had to have a hotel within literally a few minutes of the hospital in case something were to ever happen. So once I got discharged, I was discharged to the hotel room, which was within 5 minutes of the hospital.
Okay.
And we had to stay another few days before we would be given clearance to actually return home. Which after roughly a week, I was actually given clearance to return home.
Okay.
But anyway, since then, the easiest thing I can explain from my perspective, through the help of my wife and eating right and, exercising to some degree, I've regained a lot of my energy, if not all of it, since then. And I pretty much lead a normal life. I mean, the only thing I do, I'm a little bit more cautious of, is just making sure that on contact sports, I'm a little bit more cautious about joining that football game or something that might be a little bit more contact. But I was never that kind of person that would involve myself in those type of activities, so it's not like I miss it. So I've always been more of a golfer, and
gotcha.
Those type of activities.
Wow, that's amazing. And again, seeing Sandy Friday, I mean, and she was at USPA this year. I don't know if she went to IPA because I wasn't there with Jerry, but seeing her at USPA, seeing her Friday night, I mean, she looks great. She's in perfect spirits. But that's Sandy. I mean, I've known Sandy, gosh, her and I go way back when I started playing with the Trelltones back in 1976. And her and her mom used to come out. Her mom was crazy. Did you know her mom?
I believe so.
Oh, she was priceless. But I miss that gal because she called a spade. She would get in your face and tell you exactly what she thought. But just a wonderful human being. And I know a lot of us in the polka world miss her. But, again, it's just seeing Sandy. And like I said, I did get her permission before I even asked you that question. So, wow, that's great. And I didn't know that. And I'm sure a lot of our viewers and listeners didn't know that either, Bob. So thank you very much for sharing that part of the story.
Yeah, no problem.
Unreal.
And I'm glad you're able to say that she's in great spirits because, obviously without the process, she probably wouldn't be here now.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot to be said about the gift of life.
Yeah, hear. Amen to that. And, Eric Kurakowski, he had typed something in here to Facebook, which I don't think you guys are seeing, but he said Rafael Mendez hung a trumpet from a string and could play anything with zero pressure. So that's again another one that I never even thought of, never even heard of actually. I mean, I've heard of Rafael Mendez, but just to be able to find that stuff out too. We've got some great folks here. There's going to be a lot of people that will be able to tune this in if they have things that they're busy right now. Nice part about Facebook and especially YouTube, Bob, because that interview is going to be on there forever and a day. And I always share with people if they want to get a chance to catch it, if they, logged in late or whatever, you can always go to youtube.com, type in Polkas After Dark, and then Bob Naessens Interview, and boom, it'll just pop right up there. It got some great pictures, like I said. Thank you very much to your missus. I also stole a few off of some other people's pages as well, but we've had some really, really nice photos going through here. I did make that adjustment, Melody Kings instead of the Harmony Kings. So thanks very much for that as well.
Should I apologize in advance that your ratings will go down?
No, yes. It's like, oh, geez, I couldn't believe that because it's funny. I'm going to have to go in and change all the nomenclatures of the songs off of that particular recording. And I think he had a couple of recordings actually. But the one that you were talking about was Stoned on Polkas that you, of course, had played on, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Hey, Bob, I have two more questions that I want to ask you. And, well, three, actually. Do you have a most embarrassing moment that either on stage or off stage at a dance or a festival, do you have an embarrassing moment that you'd be able to share with us?
Well, actually, I don't know about the most embarrassing. The one that we just had a couple months ago, we were on stage and we were actually playing in Toledo at a Oak Grove festival. And as you guys know, you mentioned about smiling, was a lot of times, I'll, be doing hand gestures or, kind of slapping my horn here and there. Next thing you know, I go to play, my mouthpiece is missing. And what the heck? And so I'm looking around, and Jimmy's playing clarinet and sax in back of us, and I'm showing him what happened, and he's looking on the ground, and Chase, of course, is on lead vocals, and he's preoccupied doing that. And well, long story short, it had jumped off my horn during one of my movements, and it went under Jimmy's stands, and it was totally blocked. And so fortunately, I was able to spot it as I was down looking closer, and I literally put it in my horn, and I had to have 2 seconds to get back up on, up under the microphone and play. But I'm sure there's a lot more worse things that I've embarrassed myself with hitting wrong notes and everything. I did that numerous times.
Oh, who hasn't?
But yeah, beyond that probably was, as a horn player, probably one of the worst things that you can do. And just not to have your instrument available, But and I'm sure other people that have known me throughout the years probably have embarrassing moments that I can't even think of. So if they want to chime in, that's totally fine.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And Arlene Pavarak-Gavransky, she, Dave Gavransky, I'm sure, accordionist here in Western New York. I think they lived around Massachusetts for a while and moved back here to Buffalo. But she said a wonderful story. If you need a kidney, if you need my kidney, it's yours. It's just a lot of folks, and I think you maybe have opened up the floodgates, so to speak, by mentioning stuff like this, because a lot of people are very hesitant. Now, also, I'm going to go back to this because I've got to ask you this. How did they find out that you were a match? How do they find out that someone is a match? Is there like a database or something that people will go through?
What they do is everything's dependent on your blood work and your family history and your current level of health, if you will.
Okay.
So when we first heard that Sandy was in need of a kidney, we were in our house, and my wife is on Facebook. I'm not, and she saw something come across, and so she inquired into Sandy and talked to her, and without even hesitating, we both looked at each other and said, "Let's do it." And my wife actually was the first one in the process, and she had actually gone at least a couple months, I think, into the process.
Wow.
And what ended up happening was they actually looked at her family history a bit more and found there was higher rates of diabetes and hypertension in my wife's side of the family. And yeah, there was some of that in mind, but it was usually, a good 15, 20 years later of onset before it would have impacted me. So we ended up basically both getting tested and found that both of us were matches. So what they do is they take your blood work and try to determine from your blood work if her blood work would be a match. Because again, it's all about the kidney receiving on her end, not rejecting, or at least have a less chance of rejecting.
Yeah.
And give her a better quality of life, with the medications that she'll have to take. And so that's how that all really transpired. And so I want to say we started the process somewhere in the summer of 2016, and then the actual transplant occurred in mid-February of the following year of 2017.
Okay.
And so you can see that it took quite a few months for it to actually come to fruition. So from our end, yeah, there were a lot of times I had to give blood work, and so I'd have to go to our local hospital and here in Michigan, and they would transfer all the blood and all the data from that accordingly, so that everybody in the transplant center in Buffalo had all the documentation. And then I remember on the very last time I had to give blood itself, you know how they will take a vial or two? Well, this particular one, I literally had to give 22 vials of blood.
Wow.
I was so spent.
Oh my gosh.
After that. Yeah. In fact, the last few vials, they were like, can you, squeeze your arm a little bit more, whatever, just to get it out. But anyway, everything obviously worked as smoothly as it could. And so the process itself, from, her standpoint, I can't speak to, because I really didn't get as involved with what she had to go through, because she was still doing the dialysis on a daily basis.
Okay.
And doing everything that she could just to, make herself as healthy as possible through that. And from my end, I was able to lead my normal life. And then thereafter, after I got home, I through my insurance benefits, I was able to be on total disability for up to 8 weeks.
Okay.
Which I did 7 weeks, I think. It was my call if I wanted later, but I was really itching to get back to work. And the only thing I noticed is, the doctor told me it would take 2 to 2.5 years before you got all of your energy back. Mm-hmm. And it did. He was spot on, and it took me about 2.5 years to really feel that I got everything back. And then the only other thing I really noticed is, like your bowel movements, I would have more of an urgency than I had before. Right. And that took months before that got back to normal.
Under control, sure.
Yeah, because you're always, you're messing with major organs, obviously, and your body's adjusting.
Oh, yeah.
So as a result, the other thing that will happen is, the easiest thing to explain is that your kidney is about the size of a fist. And so what does happen, the remaining kidney, because it is doing the work of two, that actually grows about a third of its original size to make up for the kidney that it's no longer has as its partner. And so as a result of that, that's why they put you on some kind of kidney protective medications initially, to make sure your kidney is functioning properly. And quite frankly, because I don't drink much alcohol and I drink a lot of water, not some soda, but my kidney is responding extremely well, so I'm very fortunate.
That is amazing. Now, you were mentioning that, you had to give a lot of blood, like 22 vials or something of blood?
Just my last time, yes.
Yeah, and you usually... you
I'm sorry,
usually
that was-
will. Yeah, you usually will have to drink like orange juice or something like that. They tell you to drink a couple of cups of orange juice. What did they do? Back up a tanker truck up to
Yeah,
your
I
house
know.
loaded with orange juice or what? I
Yeah,
mean,
well, they
holy
had told me to
smokes!
be prepared and make sure I got plenty of fluids in my system.
Yeah.
And then, of course, have water when I'm there. But yeah, it was one of those situations you just, endured, if you will. But, when you think about it, you're a healthy individual, and they won't take kidneys from, people that are not, quote unquote, healthy.
Oh, sure.
And so that's another thing to, think about. And I realized too, and then when we started doing research, that people are of all different ages that do donate. And there's a lot of people that are in their 60s and 70s that still donate a kidney to a loved one or whatever. And so it can be done really at any age.
Yeah.
You just got to be healthy.
Now, what organ, and you may not know this, but what organ can you donate and it will, I guess, actually grow back? Is it the liver?
Oh yeah, in fact, it's funny you mention that because since this process, our accordion player Chris Hedrick has always indicated, because he knows he's not really friendly to his liver with his alcohol consumption, that he's already put dibs on mine.
That's beautiful. That's priceless. Holy smokes. Hey, Bob, I've got two more questions, I promise. Do you have a favorite breakdown story, that you can share with us? Maybe one or two that, you guys were either going to a gig or coming back from a gig and the van broke down. Do you have anything like that? I mean, you've got some miles on you traveling with Malechko.
Probably the funniest one. I hope Jeff Malechko is not listening at the moment, but
too late.
People might remember that we used to always travel in a motorhome that Jeff had purchased and renovated, put sleeping accommodations in and such. And anyway, long story short, the one that he had been aging quite a bit, so he actually had purchased another one that was used from a gentleman that had not used it for a couple of years. Well, the only problem as the band had to play in Minnesota is the fact that Jeff never got the tires changed.
Oh, they weren't dry rotted, were they?
Which meant that going down the road, boom, okay, got a blown tire, let's replace it. Go another 50 miles, boom. There goes another. Well, long story
you gotta
short,
be kidding me.
The band never made it to Minnesota because 6 tires blew. So
what the Hades?
That was by
I can't
far
believe that.
the worst situation. And so if anybody wants to ask Jeff about it, please do so.
I talked with Jeff. You and I chatted about this briefly in Erie when you guys played Zabava. And again, what a great band you guys have now with Joe conducting everything. I mean, you guys got a great nucleus. Paul Crivey, we're going to be bringing him on at some point as well in the not too distant future to chat with us. But, you guys sounded great, and you and I had a chance to talk about a bunch of stuff. And just, the band is just amazing. It really, really is as to what you guys are doing now.
Thank you. And, it's like I've said before, that the band is Jeff, and it always had been, and rightfully so. And with obviously his health issues, you can't say enough for Joe for taking the leadership of the band over and really having a vision. And with that, the one thing that we really needed to do, because of no longer having Jeff's vocals and his horn work, and all the writing of songs that he used to do, we had to kind of create an identity.
Yeah.
And so with that, I will say that, we've been very fortunate where we had everybody has been putting in ideas.
Yeah.
In fact, when we record, we have everybody in the recording studio at the same time as each person's doing their parts. Or we'll have more than one performer playing at the same time type of thing. And that's just opened up that many more ideas as we're in the recording studio. And it helps to not only create an identity, but it also gets everybody much more comfortable with those songs.
Yeah.
And thus, as a result, you develop that confidence and that ability to, be creative, if you will. And there isn't anybody in the band that doesn't contribute. And that's the other thing that is really cool, is everybody respects each other's opinions.
Yeah,
and
nice.
And we've used ideas from everybody, and not just in the recording studio, but even live on stage. And so it's very kind of you to say the words that you are using, and it's something where I think the band has always been very humble.
Yes, yes, I will agree.
But they're also a group of dedicated individuals, and you have to have a combination of a lot of those factors. And fortunately for us, we have been able to create an identity and create a sound, hopefully, that people enjoy. And just like any band, we got a lot of things to work on, and we'll hopefully continue to do so. And God willing, I tell people all the time, this doesn't happen unless the people come out and support the bands. And it's not just our bands. They got to support the music, and people do. They're very passionate about coming out and supporting the local clubs to the local festivals, and all that comes with it, and supporting the polka shows, as and even buying the merchandise or music, whatever can be done. And it's tremendous with this fan base, if you will, of people within the polka industry. And I think, as it was coined a long time ago, that this is truly a polka family. And it's amazing the number of quality people that are out there. And I can't say enough about that, especially from somebody like myself that was not brought up in the polka festival arena to all of a sudden get exposed to it. Yeah. And how many times do you see people, when they get exposed to it, can't believe it either, and all of a sudden they keep coming back?
And that's the nice part about it too, Bob. Now, I did want to also make mention, because my thought went sideways and then it came back again. You and I talked briefly in Erie that we're going to try to get Jeff Malechko on for an interview, because I think it would be just so much fun to do that. And maybe what we can do is we can have the two of you on at the same time, talking with Jeff, and also you chiming in or whatever. So we're going to try to do that. We'll try to set it up maybe before the end of the year. I think that would be a lot of fun. But one more question, my final question, I promise. I've had you on here for an hour. I do appreciate your time. Thank Becky from us, please, for allowing us to steal you for as long as we did. But what would Bob Naessens say to someone that wants to get involved in music? What advice would you give that person, whether they wanted to be a musician, a songwriter, a frontman, a leader, or front lady at this point? What advice would you sit down and give that person, Bob?
It was the word you used before, and that is get involved. Because from getting involved, what I mean by that is, like, say, for example, you're maybe the songwriter. Well, if you get involved, meaning you go to these festivals and you start talking to people, you're going to get the ideas, first of all, of what you'd like to do in the music. But secondly, you'll get connected with, like I mentioned before, you'll get connected with the Jeff Malechkos, the Michael Costas, and the Lenny Gomolkas of the world. Yeah. All these people that have that talent, about writing, and it's no different with playing the music. You'll get involved and get connected with the right people. And I've always found in this industry is people are that way. They're very helpful, and they want to. They enjoy the music so much, they want you to be a part of it just as much as they do. Yeah. And so I think in the arena of polkas particularly, and I don't know if this is isolated to polkas, but you really feel like you're part of something that's alive and something that people are passionate about.
Agreed.
And as we have over the years gone to various country and rock things, I don't get that same sense. And maybe that's out there more because, we're not trying to get into rock music or try to, perform at the country stuff. But there's something special here.
Sure.
With the polka arena. And with that being so special, that's why I would say get involved, start talking to people, and let them know your interests. And I think that, the world, if you will, can open up from there.
Yeah. Boy, that's great. Great thoughts. Great interview. Man, you have brought so much to the table that if we were handing out awards, I think you would take first place with this, Bob. All joking aside, I mean, you really covered a whole lot of stuff with not only the music, with Sandy, with just the experience itself of people getting involved in polka music. And, I've told you this before. I love you, buddy. Thank you so much. Love Becky. Please give her a big hug and a kiss from me for allowing us to steal you for this length of time because, we took you away from stuff. And again, can't thank you enough. Just continue doing what you're doing because whatever it is, you're doing it right, buddy. And, a lot of it, I don't get very religious on the broadcasts, but a lot of it is power of prayer. I mean, you see so many things that are going on, especially in today's world, that you really need to step back and say, hey, prayer has to be used in more things than just saying your prayers at night and going to sleep. People will do that, but they don't remember to say their prayers in the morning and thank God that they got up. I mean that their 2 feet hit the ground.
Yeah, my wife and I, if we've done anything, and we've talked about this, especially over the last half a dozen years, we've really changed. We're a lot more deliberate with our prayers. We feel that much closer to the good Lord than we ever have. And you're right, it all starts there. And if you, I think, do it the right way, you'll get the revelation of things that you need to have revealed, and He directs more of your life in a very positive way, and it's a very special thing.
I agree. Hey, well, listen, again, thank you so much for taking the time this evening. God bless you and your missus. And like I said, just keep doing what you're doing. And thank you for what you did for Sandy.
Thanks, Robin. I appreciate it.
All
thanks
right.
again. And thanks not only for you, but for everybody listening. I appreciate it.
You got it, buddy. Love you, pal.
Yep, that as well.
Hey, folks, that was Bob Naessens, and don't forget, you can catch this broadcast in its entirety. If you missed any of it, or maybe you just want to go back and hear a particular segment of something, it's going to be available right on YouTube right after 7 p.m., usually about 5 minutes past the hour. Hey, let's bring up another song here. Jeff Malechko with the band. Here's a song, Call on Me. And then we've got a bunch of songs off of that brand new recording, By the Light of the Moon.
Outside is closing in and you just feel like giving in, and you think there's no place for you to go. When the storms of life just find their way into your sun another day, and you can't seem to find a new rainbow. When you need someone to be there and help you face the rain, someone who'll stand beside you till the end. A spirit that will guide you and help you find your way. Someone to hold your hand and be a friend. Then you can call on me whenever you're alone. When no one seems to care, I'll be there, pick up the phone. The beacon in the night that guides you across the sea. When you need someone to love, then you can call on me. your dreams for love begin to fade with all the plans for life you've made, and there's no one for you to call your own. If the burden on your shoulders is more than you can bear, and loneliness stands waiting round the bend, just turn and look behind you, and you'll see standing there someone who'll bring the darkness to an end. When you just call on me, whenever you're alone, when no one seems to care, I'll be there, pick up the phone. The beacon in the night that guides you across the sea. When you need someone to love, then you can call on me.
Hey, what a great tune there, Benjez Bava. And of course, we want to thank Bob again for taking the time to share with us some great, not only polka memories, but also some memories with him and Sandy. Just amazing. And like I said, Jerry and I did see Sandy Lewandowski over there at the Beats Last Dance over at Potts Banquet Hall. Her and Matt. She's looking great and doing very, very well. And, thank you very much, Sandy, for letting us get a chance to discuss that. Hey, here is another tune by the Dyna Brass off of that brand new recording. Here's one called Good Time Girls.
Long ago when we were dating, you vowed your love for only me. Anticipation kept us waiting for the life that was to be. That was then, this is now. As I pray on bended knee for the love that has somehow escape from you, escape from me. No time for me, no time for you. When true and love once said I do. No time for me, no time for you. It's what this love has brought us to. need I remind you once again of the love you vowed for me? Now the question haunts my mind, where is the love that's meant to be? I see the truth before us now, and fate has played us for two fools. We were never more than friends. I guess in love that is the rule. No time for me, no time for you. When two in love once said I do. No time for me, no time for you. It's what this love has brought us to.
Hey, you're tuned to the Dynabrass Network tonight, that's for sure. Hey, some great tunes coming your way.
Some nights I stay up, cashing in my bad luck. Some nights I call it a draw. And some nights I wish that my lips could build a castle. Some nights I wish they'd just fall off. But I still wake up, I still see your ghost. Oh Lord, I'm still not sure what I stand for. Whoa, what do I stand for? What do I stand for? Most nights I don't know anymore. Well, some nights I wish that this all would end, 'cause I could use some friends for a change. Some nights I'm scared you'll forget me again. Some nights I always win. But I still wake up, I still see your ghost. Oh Lord, I'm still not sure what I stand for. Whoa, what do I stand for? What do I stand for? Most nights I don't know anymore. Well, some nights I stay up, cashing in my bad luck. Some nights I call it a draw. And some nights I wish that my lips could build a castle. Some nights I wish they'd just fall off. But I still wake up, I still see your ghost. Oh Lord, I'm still not sure what I stand for. Whoa, what do I stand for? What do I stand for? Most nights I don't know anymore. call me lonesome, heartbroken and some, 'cause I ain't got no one since you've been gone. You called me baby, now I got a new babe. I don't need my old one, call me lonesome from now on. You used to call me your one and only, but now you only call me someone you once knew. You were my angel before some stranger stole my heart and stole my world, but he stole you. Just call me lonesome, heartbroken and some, 'cause I ain't got no one since you've been gone. You called me baby, now I got a new name. I don't need my old one, call me lonesome from now on. I see you with him and fall apart again, remembering when I was the only man you needed. We said forever we'd be together. We came between us and now forever lies in pieces. Just call me lonesome, heartbroken then some, 'cause I ain't got no one since you've been gone. You called me baby, now I got a new name. I don't need my old one, call me lonesome from now on.
Let's all join Pukoyashu at Polka Motion by the Ocean 2025. Great times will be had in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, September 18 through 20. Feel the excitement, hear the sounds, and dance to the beat of Frankie Lishka and Blue Magic, the Polka Family Band, Lenny Gomolka and Chicago Push, the Eddie Foreman Orchestra, the Polka Country Musicians, and Michael Costa in the beat. DJ IJ John Seplick will be above the dunes on Friday, 11:30 a.m. Enjoy tax-free shopping and free parking. Park the car once and book to everything you could ever want in a beach resort town. Arrive early, join the fun at the welcome party on Wednesday, September the 17th at Conch Island Key West Bar and Grill with DJ Bruce Z and the Burke Boys. Visit the very informative official Polka Motion website to read about the band schedule and lodging suggestions. PolkaMotion.com. Call Michael at 908-209-9843. Call Jeff 518-281-1587. Polka Motion by the Ocean, September 18th through 20 in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware.
Hey, well, this is where we get a chance to say thanks ever so much for putting me on this evening. Jerry will be back next week, Saturday, and can't wait for that. Hey, we thank you so much for putting us on. If you've been listening in your car, thanks for the ride. You're tuned to Polkas After Dark. Catch you next week, Saturday.